Good morning, everyone. Michael Chad Dotson here again. I spoke about this wheel last night and posted a video to YouTube about this time movement. I referenced as a wheel, more a movement than a wheel, a graph or display of movement of time. There's some literature within this folder that I would like all to see as I begin to turn the pages to catch up or to update oneself. Watch the YouTube video Time Travel by Mike Dotson as I begin. I stated all this in the time travel video. And this. Page 4, Timeline 0. Atoms appear to split upon return to quantum. 2. Quantum seems to travel with each movement of time, each second hand, each second that moves on this planet. An existence, I reference as quantum existence, helps with close proximity division of time. Is this the sun? I think so. The second paragraph was stated in the time travel video. For effortless motion, movement to exist, effort must be put forth. This I copied from YouTube 369 Mysteries Nikola Tesla Vortex Math Sacred Geometry. 45,000 views 2 years ago. I copied this because I noticed the numbers or recognized the numbers within these two groups. Indicated in purple 285 or 582, and in blue 417, 714, 147, and 369, 639, 936, as you will see in the upcoming pages. Here, these numbers are numbers that are derived from each timeline, as you can see on the left, 0 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock. These numbers are derived from the time wheel, or the time indicator, the movement indicator. I'll shift the notebook around so you can get a full view. As you can see, I will turn back to the previous page. 285, 258, 258, 582, 258, 582, 582, 369, 369, 147, 471 in purple, in blue, my apologies, 417, 714, etc. These graphs are me researching, as I do often, looking for correlation, semblance. For we have only one number system on this planet, and that is 1 through 9. All numbers, as I have stated before, can be referenced or digitally transformed, or what I work with, reduced sums. One can reduce all numbers back to one of these numbers, and only one of these numbers, for this is the original sequence, the only sequence that we work with on this planet, 1 through 9. So in knowing this, as I have stated before, I look in this sequence for sequences of numbers. This is another reference. Now here we would notice this is timeline 0 of the video time travel in those notes. This is both sides of the future and the past brought together, referencing or trying to view movement, expansion. As one can see, the base widens. And I feel there is a connection here to building pyramids, for stability is at the base. And here's how I derived, if I may turn back a couple of pages. As you can see, 369, 369, 369 on both sides. That's how I derived or came up with the numbers on this page here. That's timeline 0, 0 being the present, the sun. This is timeline 1 o'clock, the present. 258. (471). The future is 471. The past is 258. Tallied together in the middle, 11, 13, 24. That is 6. Tallied together, 23, 25, 48. That is 12. That is 3. 6, 3. 7 and 2 is 9. 6, 3, 9. 6, 3, 9. 6, 3, 9. 6, 3, 9. 6, 3, 9. Here's 2 o'clock. The left side being the past, 147. Now here we had the future, I may turn back on the right side, 471. Now 471 has reconfigured is 147 in the past. What does all this mean? All these communications, I do not know. I am sharing with everyone. So anyone of a scientific mind can continue this research and see if this communication that is before you can lead us somewhere. Now, keep in mind, everyone, as we view these numbers of communication and words, that this transcription is and has been deciphered tens of thousands of years after receiving the groundwork to begin to discover knowledge. So with any, or as with any discovery, the discovery is old. For it takes us humans many of a decade to decipher and transcribe knowledge. What I'm trying to say is that although we may discover the meaning or another meaning or the next meaning to or of these writings, in that instance of discovery, age, immense age of connection exists, saying that the other end of the communique is most likely dead and gone. This is timeline 3. 936. Now you see 369 was on the right in the future. Now it's moved to the left, the past, and reconfigured. 936. We stay constant in the middle. 639, 639. Always tallying 2880. Reduce sum 18.9, or digital root, as most people know. Mine is digital sum, or sums. I started my work before I discovered digital roots. I noticed after working a long time and reducing numbers in reduced sum form, having watched YouTube, that there is a process known as digital root form. Both are the same. Now here I decided to reduce the number derived from reduced sum. For I combined these numbers together, 16 and 8, to get 24. 8 on the left, the past, 7 on the right, being a reduced sum of 16 on the future, is 24. But I added all these numbers together to come up with looking for the reference of Tesla, the function of 369. Three on the right in the future, 6 in the past. And we stay the same, 639 in reduced sum or digital root form down the line. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 825 in the future, 714 in the past. 6 o'clock, 936 on the right, 693 on the left, the past. 7 o'clock, 147, 582, the future and the past. 258, the future, 471, the past. On each timeline, there seems to be a reconfiguration of this connection, a familiarity of numbers. 369 in the future, 369 in the past at 9 o'clock. But once again in the middle, 639, 639 down the line. That is the timeline. Now, do not take my speaking as being the gospel. Pardon the word, for I'm not a fan of the word gospel. Being written in stone. Be flexible. Stay open-minded in viewing my work. For humans do make mistakes. Evidenced by our world that is tearing itself apart. 11 o'clock. This is 10 o'clock, 471, 258. 11 o'clock, 582, 147. As I just stated, this work is first thought work. Be flexible when reading. Shift the pyramid indicator under any number in any timeline. Create another view. Example follows next page. 61. I have chosen the number 61 to put the pyramid indicator under or beneath or towards. Has a connection to timeline 1 o'clock future and timeline 11 o'clock past, showing a connection between the two. Also, timeline 7 o'clock future, 147 to timeline 61 o'clock past. Now, as you can see, here is the timeline, 1 o'clock. This is the 1 o'clock timeline. But I had shifted the pyramid indicator to the left, to the past. This is 61 o'clock past. Now, we have an existence here that is altered or created or indicates an existence of a time shift. For time seems to be at a standstill in my mind, for the numbers indicate 122, 122, 122, 122, 122 before change or movement begins. Exactly what's happening here, I do not know. As I have stated, I am posting my discoveries onto YouTube so all may research. And our tally is changed too. There was all 9s, I believe. Yes, 9s. Now we have a 7. But our numbers 417 and 147 are still functional. Now I've added all the timelines together, and is this a coincidence that they happen to derive at a sequenced derivative? 3, 4, 5, 6, 0, which still equals 18 equals 9 in reduced sums or digital root form. 0 point energy, a thought I've not expanded on yet. A reference to time and reduced sums. Reference to time and reduced sums, helping me understand numbers. I research a lot about numbers and movements. If we would notice, with any calculation of numbers, there is a count within a count. The main sequence of 1 through 9 repeats. We get to 18, 9, we go to 19, which can be digitally root transformed to 10 or reduced sums to 10 to 1, and we begin again. 11 is 2, 12, 3, 13, 4, so on till we get to 19 as time. This is counting on the clock hand. Starts again. I write poetry too, people. I work with words and numbers, as stated in one of my videos. I do not recall which one. If you exist on this planet, you have a quantum field. Thus, your field can be altered by quantum movement. Humans were created in the midst of the wild. Need to find a planet without any wild animals on. Many perceptions will change if we are able to leave behind the wilderness. 0 is quantum status. As one moves 1 nanosecond away from 0, expanding or vortexing occurs. Circumferencing movement, radiusing away from 0, the present. So at some point in time exists the center, where my conclusion or guess or opinion is the sun. And this is continued on. If you would like, I will some more of my writings about the Roman numeral X. One must invert the Roman numeral X, as you can see here. Beneath the Roman numeral, one must invert the Roman numeral 5. Beneath the Roman numeral to get the Roman numeral 10X. Leaving a space between, for the Roman numeral 10 appears not to exist mathematically on a congruent quantum scale of 10. The Roman numeral X can exist as a figurative expression of 10 only. And here's congruent measurements. As one can see, from point A to point B, outer edges, there's not a balance of 10, 8.75. To get 10 here, one must separate here. Now, for the Roman numeral 10 to exist on a congruent scale, a frequency connection must exist. Half-inch scale of a 1.25 separation. Understanding numbers in reduced form and digital root form. 1,000 equals 1. 1,009 equals 10 equals 1. 10,000 equals 1, etc., etc., etc. Occam's thoughts. For the second word commonly known when one hears Occam's, I am not a fan of. For the mind is a sensitive existence, and to embed such an aggressive word that one is familiar with when they hear Occam's, I am not a fan of. So I have transcribed the second word to thoughts. Occam's thoughts. Parsimony, problem solving. Fewer parameters is preferred. Parameter. Measurability of a system. The fewer processes involved in solving a problem, the better, the more sustainable. Too many words can overnumber thought. 2. Reviewing Roman numerals, quantum congruent scale. The Roman numeral 5 can become 10, f increased in scale, and so forth. 15, 20, 25. Roman numerals increase in value the more time and space volumed. Volume can be calculated if a vessel exists. Quantum is as quantum does. Means existence is as seen. This is 5/16 scale, 5/16 of a line, 5/16 of a line. This connects to the work building with ribs. Counting, building with ribs. I probably should have had this page before the last because I had lost myself in the last page in trying to explain without having seen this page. As I had stated, fewer parameters, fewer explanations as to what's going on helps thought move. And retranscribing. Counting, 1/16 scale, building with ribs. A 16th starting point, or one could move back to invisibility, but I start with a visible point of a 16th being the 0, or as the starting point, then as invisibility, then 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now you got 9/16 of a line. This is how one can count a straight line. How long really is a billionth of a line? 0 is congruent of self. Takes 12 V's Roman numerals to make a congruent circle pi, or is 4 the number? Ribs, pyramid scale. This began my work some years back in viewing pyramids and having made a discovery about pyramids, that all pyramids are stone copies of volcanoes. For the primitive man having run in fear of lava, learned to worship or started to worship the volcano as being all. Thus, they were building stone homage, the homage, the volcano. All pyramids are stone copies of volcanoes. So I started counting ribs and stones.